Who are the top 3 free agent defensemen the Buffalo Sabres should target this offseason? Find out coming up. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another video of Sports Talk Buffalo. Before we go any further, I want to remind you guys to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a video. Obviously, I talk Bills, Sabres, and the University at Buffalo men's basketball and football teams right here on this page. Also, remember to check out some cool merch, and the links will be in the description below. We are now officially in the NHL offseason, which means we are going to start looking ahead to the 2023-24 NHL season and how to make this Buffalo Sabres team better. Now, it's no secret that one of the biggest weaknesses for the Buffalo Sabres last season was overall team defense, as they finished 26th in the NHL, giving up 300 goals against, which equates to over 3.5 goals per game. Now, even though the Buffalo Sabres currently have 7 defensemen under contract for the 23-24 season, it's clear that something needs to be done in order to bolster this Buffalo Sabres back end heading into next season. Realistically, there are 4 defensemen on the bubble for next year, being Ilya Lyubushkin, Ryan Stillman, Henry Jokiharju, and of course, Jacob Bryson. In my opinion, someone likely should be traded this offseason. And my pick for the person that should be traded is Henry Jokiharju. But before you fly off the handle, let me tell you why I would trade Jokiharju over the other 3. Simply put, he would possess the most trade value of any of the 4 defensemen that I just listed. He is a smooth skating, puck moving, right-handed defenseman who is still young, and oh, by the way, an added bonus, he is still an RFA, which means the team that trades for him gets the first opportunity to negotiate and potentially put him under contract for a longer period of time, which should hopefully equate to a bigger overall package being sent back to the Buffalo Sabres. Doing this likely leaves a hole on your second pair, as Jacob Bryson likely becomes the Buffalo Sabres' 7th D-man, and Lyubushkin and Stillman end up being your 3rd pair. So who should the Buffalo Sabres target this offseason? That is a free agent. Again, we are only talking about free agents and not about potential trade partners, at least in this scenario. My first pick would, of course, be the incredibly physical defenseman who just made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final with the Florida Panthers, and that is Radko Gudas. While he is on the older side at 33 years old, Gudas is still capable of playing at a very, very high level and did average nearly 17 minutes and 30 seconds of ice time last season, and Gudas did show some offensive ability his last 2 seasons with 16 and 17 points respectively. But his value comes in his own end, and being paired with someone like Owen Power, who is a puck-moving offensive defenseman, you need somebody to pair with him, kind of like Matthias Samuelsson has with Rasmus Dahlin, and that is more of a defensive-minded defenseman to allow Owen Power to be able to focus on his strengths moving forward. And again, like I said, it is in his own end where he averages nearly 2 shot blocks per game in this past season, and he had an eye-popping 4.3 hits per game Florida Panthers this past season. To put that in perspective, the Buffalo Sabres averaged just 13 hits per game all season long, and Radko Gudas averaged 4.3 hits per game by himself. He would likely add the physical element that the Buffalo Sabres sorely need on the back end. I know they went out and got Riley Stillman. I think he can still be a halfway decent piece. I liked how he played when he wasn't injured. I think he can definitely contribute on that third pair with Ilya Lyubushkin. The only goal this offseason should be to get somebody that you can pair with Owen Power. The biggest thing for Radko Gudas, of course, would be the fact that he would likely be looking, potentially, coming off of a fairly decent season, for a contract, much like the other two guys I'm going to mention, that the Buffalo Sabres might not be able to afford, as they are looking to extend both Rasmus Dahlin and Owen Power this offseason, per the reports that I have seen online. The next defenseman that I would potentially go after is soon to be 29-year-old Carson Suter. Now, Suter is a big defenseman at 6'5", and from all reports, he is a shutdown defender, and he's coming off of a very solid season in Seattle that saw him secure 16 points and a plus-minus of 18 overall. Suter averaged just over 16 minutes per game last year, so it is potentially time for a bigger role for Carson Suter. I know he is 29 years old. However, when you go and look at it, he was a bit of a late bloomer, so he might be ready to take on a little bit more responsibility this upcoming season if you pair him with someone that he doesn't have to do too much with, because Owen Power would likely carry the load. All he has to do is focus on being himself, which is a shutdown defender. Again, the only problem is that he, much like Radko Gudas, might be looking for a bigger contract than the Buffalo Sabres would be able to give him. Now, Carson Suter averaged nearly 2 hits per game at 143 hits this season, and he also had 96 blocked shots. That's 1.23 block shots per game. Again, just a shutdown defender, somebody that can clear the front of the net and be the stability that you could pair with somebody like an Owen Power. Now, lastly, I believe the Buffalo Sabres could potentially target from the New Jersey Devils, and that is defenseman Ryan Graves, who is also a very large human, standing at 6'5". He is a former fourth rounder who just turned 28, coming off of a very strong season again in New Jersey, which saw him go for 8 goals, 18 assists, 26 points, and a plus 34. Now, he is not overly physical, but with just 83 hits last season. However, he is solid defensively and had 152 blocked shots last season, which is nearly 2 blocked shots per game. Again, Graves is coming off of a $3.1 million annual average value for his contract. So he, much like Suter and Gudas, might be potentially looking for a little bit too much in terms of salary and length that the Buffalo Sabres might want to give him, with them having to extend Dahlin and Owen Power this offseason. Overall, what I'm saying is that I believe that the Buffalo Sabres need another solid stay-at-home defenseman that can allow Power the freedom to play a more offensive game, as I stated before, much like Rasmus Dahlin has with Mattias Samuelsson, with that pairing. Adding a top 4 D-man helps the Buffalo Sabres maybe shift their defense overall to have these guys play in a better role so that you don't necessarily have to rely so heavily on guys like Rasmus Dahlin and Owen Power, much like they did last season. With all that said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Is there potential trades that you would want the Sabres to look after? Are these 3 free agents? Is there any other free agents that you might want the Buffalo Sabres to look at this offseason in terms of defensemen? Again, let me know in the comments section below. That's going to do it for this video, guys. And as always, have a fantastic week.